Absolutely. This is gonna be fun. I didn't see that. Eric posted the store in the Win Blueprint. I mean in the chat, the Win Blueprint store. Hey Alicia, what's going on, girl? I see you, I
Hey,
see
what's
you, I
going on,
see you.
Chuck?
Life is good.
Good.
I could not complain. Allison, bunch of people snuck in here while I was heating up my coffee. Okay. I see my man Henry in the building. We got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Do us a favor. If you have somebody, Allison, you were muted. I know you said something, but whatever it was, I didn't hear
No, I'm
it.
good. Sorry.
Okay. If you guys have not posted in the group, just go into the Zoom announcement and say I'm on and put and tag at everyone. Okay, he got the tie on. Okay, sir.
Henry looking professional.
Okay.
Love it, love
Okay.
it.
Looking good.
He's coming to work today.
Listen, that is a professional. That's what that is. That is
Yes,
a
yes.
professional. All right, we got about 2 minutes. Go ahead, send that last text message. Let your partners know, your fellow winners know that we are getting ready to start.
Yes, and while we wait, and is everybody on the Win Blueprint REI Instagram?
Instagram page. Yes.
Notice we got less people on the page than we have members, huh?
Which page, Micah?
The Win Blueprint REI, we did a new Win Blueprint. Is it the Win Blueprint REI
Uh
or is
yes.
it Win Blueprint REI?
It is the Win Blueprint REI.
So I'm gonna put it inside the group chat and y'all go add us because we need everybody to be a part of the Win Blueprint. We do a lot of things on there too, and you guys could share some of our stuff and videos. You guys are in a lot of the videos. You guys are in a lot
Absolutely.
of them. So let's get you guys to
You
share.
guys are in a lot of
Y'all are in them too. All right, so we should go ahead and get started. Thank you guys so much for coming. Hey, Alicia, Allison, Gina, Lori, Marla. If you can be on camera, we got Mimi's. He's joining us as a new guest. Deja, Joe Lee. I need that mirror, magic mirror. I see you.
Look at Mr. Cobb came in looking business professional.
You see him? You
Good
see him?
afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good morning.
Good morning and afternoon.
Good morning and after. I know, right? Depending on where you are. All
Hmm.
right, let's go ahead and get this thing started. I want to make sure that we respect your time for this
Oops.
beautiful Saturday. I know there's a million other places that you can be, but we're about to invest in ourselves heavily right now. So just in terms of the layout for this Saturday call, we're going to touch on the new why. We're going to do some leadership announcements in terms of some of the polls that you guys saw, some other things, and then Michael is going to jump on and bless us with some more information about stabilization.
I do what
So.
I do what I do.
If you can, you want to be on camera. If not, you want to make sure you can at least pay attention to your screen. The messages, the Zoom is being recorded. That does not mean that you mail this one home, guys. This is going to be a lot of information, and I'm super, super excited. So, on behalf of our founder, Eric Gill, let's go ahead and kick this thing off. So, some of you that were not at the last Boots on the Ground, we had a brief session where we talked about our whys. And one of the things that I noticed when we talked about our why is that everybody that has that first week, we talk about our why before we submit, and we have our first week, and everybody's why is about the same, right? Everybody's why tends to cover same buzzwords. And before I jump into that, I want to play a video. I'm going to share my screen. It's about 2 minutes long. I'm going to show you the difference between having a why, having a little bit of luck, and mailing it in, right? So when I come back from this video, we are going to jump right in. Now, I want to make sure share sound that you guys can hear it when I push play. So let me know if you guys can hear this. All good.
Woohoo!
All right. So listen, uh-oh, 1 second.
We can hear
Got to
you.
get rid of them commercials. Okay, so we can hear me? Perfect. So when we talk about our why, guys, I just want to make sure that we understand a couple of things, right? We always talk about our legacies. We always talk about the things that we want to leave. But I am a firm believer that our why needs to motivate us daily, right? In terms of just the level of effort that we put in. And one of those slides, I don't know if you saw it, but basically a second and a half cost somebody $600,000 in NASCAR. Right now, that is not from preparedness. That is not because they didn't believe. That is because they were able to implement everything that they've worked on seamlessly. That's because they have systems, right? And so we talk about our why often. And before I jump in, I want to paraphrase an old quote by a gentleman by the name of Richard Bach. The worst lies that we tell ourselves are the lies that we tend to believe the most. We live in denial of what we can really do as well as what we think. We do this because we're afraid. We fear that we fear that we will not achieve the thing, and life will not allow us to achieve it. The subconscious truth is that if we do achieve it, we fear that we'll lose it. We also feel that we rather achieve it or not, whether we achieve it or not, we will not be happy, right? And what that boils down to for me is sometimes it's not the fear of loss that motivates us. Sometimes it's the fear of success, right? Because success requires additional responsibility. Success requires obedience. Success requires loyalty and discipline and all the things that we tend to not have in our normal lives. So we bring that over and then we say we have a why, right? And we say that we have a why that is associated with a legacy. We want to leave a legacy. How many of you, just by show of reactions, how many of you had the word legacy in your why? I see 1, 2, I see some head nodding. Everybody said they wanted to leave a legacy. Absolutely. So a legacy by definition is a gift of money or other personal property that will be transmitted to someone after someone's passing, right? Or something transmitted or received from an ancestor or a predecessor. So you guys are literally saying that your why is attached to something you will never live to see. Your why is attached to something that all the work that you put in, all the stress that we have while we do these deals, we're never going to get to enjoy. That's not fun, y'all. That's not fun. You're literally creating something that's going to demotivate you, right? Your why should be attached to something that is tangible. Your why should be attached to something that's going to allow you to move forward every day. Your why can either be an anchor or it can be an engine, right? Your why can be an anchor or an engine. What do I mean by that? The boat can't move with the anchor down, right? And a lot of us have whys that are anchors. They keep us from moving. The anchor is, I want to leave this legacy. I want to do something for my children. I want to do X, Y, Z. That is a little bit of extra stress. It is a great motivator in terms of this is what we've heard. These are the buzzwords. These are the things that we want to do. These are the things that we see on social media. I want to leave a legacy. I want to have financial freedom. I want to do X, Y, Z. But those are things that we don't recognize when we see them, right? What is financial freedom to somebody that's living check to check? What is financial freedom to somebody that can't afford for more than 2 or 3 rent payments to not get made on the property? Financial freedom now becomes something that is unattainable because we don't know what financial literacy is in the first place. And then second, we're still learning the actions and the activities and the muscles that we need so that we can have the financial muscles to gain financial freedom. So I want everybody to do a couple of things. I want you to remove every buzzword. Go back to your why. I want you to remove every buzzword in your why and take that out. We're going to start redoing our whys. All right, we're going to start redoing those whys. Most of us look at our whys as anchors or unconsciously look at our whys as anchors, and it's something that we aren't able to move. But if we treat our why like an engine, right? If we treat our why like an engine, now we can start going step by step. We can get a little bit further, right? When we were at the boots on the ground, I asked everybody in the room, your why should be attached to what happens if you fail, right? That's the same way we approach our jobs. That's the same thing that gives us the discipline to wake up at 5:30 in the morning for everybody else, for these other companies. What happens if we fail? If we start a business and we are considering ourselves real estate investors like we do, what happens if we fail? We know what that life is like because we're living it, right? We're waking up too early to enjoy the time that we wanted to get dressed, right? We got to rush our coffee, grab our keys, drop the kids off, do all of these things that we do not enjoy. We know what happens if we fail, right? We continue to live the life that we're already in. And we obviously have something to say about that because that's why we chose to become real estate investors. That's why we chose to do something that we can enjoy the benefits of in terms of tax breaks, building financial safety nets and things like that. What happens if you fail? Who's depending on you to get this thing right? How many of us have kids on the call? Right? Yep, we got kids. Okay. For the sake of this call, everybody's kid's named Johnny. For the sake of this call, everybody's kid is named Johnny. What happens if we fail? Take real estate out of it. If you fail at your 9 to 5, even though it's a safety net, even though you know every 2 weeks you're going to get paid, you're not going to get paid any more no matter how hard you work. You're not going to get paid any more no matter how much overtime you do, right? Because it's going to be taxed. You're not going to get any more than a 3% annual raise. But what happens if we fail? What happens if we just decide to not show up that day? What happens if we no call, no show for work a couple times? Right? Then little Johnny is now looking for an additional roof outside of something to eat. And so when we have an engine for our why, we now can move forward because we know we can have our safety net. We can have our 9 to 5. Nobody on this call, none of your mentors or coaches, Michael, Eric, none of us are going to ever tell you to leave your 9 to 5. That is not what this is. We are going to tell you to get as automated as possible with your 9 to 5. Do as well as you can without overworking so that you can show up for yourself. Because if you fail here, little Johnny never has the legacy that you say you want to leave. Right? So I used to tell everybody when I was in network marketing, I would say I have what at the time it was only 3 daughters, but now it's 4 daughters, 1 wife, and 1 chance to get everything right. This is the chance. The goal will never change. The vehicle that you use to chase this goal will change up until now, right? This is the first time that we have something that we have a complete packaged system. My wife calls it a business in a box, right? This is the first time that you have a complete package system with the support and the tools, everybody in place so that you can implement the goal that you said you have. But your why can't be a lie. Your why cannot be something that does not motivate you. Your why can't be something that isn't tangible, that doesn't make you wake up, right? Your why has to be something that motivates you when the hope yields. Right? Eric posted the other day, he's got properties that somebody hasn't paid rent on for 6 months. He's got another one where they're doing their own rehab. If you don't have a strong enough why, if you don't have a strong enough reason for doing this business, that's going to wipe somebody out. Somebody's going to quit. Somebody's just sell it. I can't do it. Just sell it. Sell them both. Sell the duplex. They already got a tenant in it. I just want to break even. I know some of you have thought it. I just want to break even. It's too much. That's because the why isn't strong enough. The why is something that you have to revisit every day, just like that alarm clock. The why is something that needs to be a habit like my morning coffee. Because if it's not, you will tap out. The why has to be something that when you say you want it, you have to know that the test is coming. You have to know that everything you said you want, life is going to say, oh, for real? That's what you say? Okay. You say you want to be a real estate investor. I'm going to give you your first 2 properties, and then I'm going to give you a tenant that disappears after month 3. I'm going to let you sell a property like Michael had, and right before you're about to sell it, I'm going to let somebody break into the property. Do you really want this? Some of you did your why and never revisited it. You haven't looked at it. It's not posted. It's not a screensaver. It's not an affirmation. Do you really believe in that why that you said you had? Right? When the happiness yields, everybody's excited when they first started. Y'all like my acronym? When hope yields, WHY. I like that. Y'all to catch that one later. When the happiness yields, right? Everybody's excited when they sign up and they have their first couple of sessions. Everybody's juiced. I'm now a real estate investor. I done put the win blueprint in my bio. But when the happiness yields, we tell everybody the hard work starts after you get the property. What's going to happen when you now have to do the work, when you now have to go over budget, when you now have to dip into a little bit of the savings that we asked you if you had ready to move? The happiness is going to go away. The hope is going to go away. All you're going to have is the path, the why, and the team behind you. So the challenge is going to always be to elevate your why. The challenge is going to always be positive self-talk so that you can look in the mirror and believe the version of you that you're telling yourself you want to be. When the honesty yields, right? When the honesty yields. We asked you week 2 or 3, we asked you about your finances. Everybody wants to hide a little something. Everybody wants to say, I'm not going to tell them about this card. I'm not going to tell them about this. But then when it's time to get to the business credit and things get a little slower, right? Or when it's time to pay that first hard money loan mortgage and you thought you could manage it, then everything gets a little bit more real. And so this is not necessarily one of those meetings where we want to discourage you, but we are going to challenge you. Your why needs to change. Your why needs to be stronger. Your why needs to make you feel 10 feet tall and bulletproof. If you got to turn green like the Hulk when you hear it, then that's what your why should do for you. Some of us play our favorite songs when we talk to ourselves about our why. When Eric, Michael, and me meet up, first 5 minutes is all affirmations. Good to see you. Oh, you a winner. That first toast, we are excited because we get to reinforce the why that we say we had. We not only have our own personal whys, we have whys that are associated to you guys. We don't get to take days off. We don't get to fail. This is a business that is growing, and the vision that we have for it is phenomenal. But we don't get to mail it in and say, I'm not showing up Tuesday. I know we got a weekly call. We can't do that. Michael's calendar is ridiculous. Eric's calendar is ridiculous. Mine is all over the place. But guess what? When it comes to this, it's non-negotiable. And too many of us have whys that are negotiable, right? I want to chase this thing if everything goes right. I want to do this if Michael calls me back. I want to do this if Eric is going to hold my hand and answer every question that I have. But this is your business. We're not on your LLCs. We don't take any profits. This why that you have has to be an engine. It cannot be an anchor. It cannot be an anchor. If your why keeps you still, you are lying to yourself. And the only person responsible for the results of a lie is you. All right? Your why has to be something that you can touch every day. When we make dinner every day, it's a habit, right? We make sure little Johnny eats. Those habits that we have every day turns into what happens yearly. This is compound interest. The first property that you buy and hold, it may be $400 a month that you profit. But guess what? That second year is now 8%, 15% growth in revenue. That's how you become a millionaire. That 10th property now creates a structure for you to leave that legacy that you said you wanted. But legacy is too far off. You don't get to see that. You get to see the day-to-days. You get to see the structure. Your legacy is going to be the work ethic that little Johnny watches you create. Then he's going to know, oh, I have options. And I have a head start because this nest egg is here. But that why has to be work. That why has to be something that you 100% believe in. So the challenge for you, as I get ready to wrap this up, the challenge for you is to go look at your why, revise it, take the buzzwords out, give yourself something to believe in today, give yourself something to push for today that can create a habit, that can create a belief, that can create the lifestyle that you said you wanted when you first did your why. Send that why, send that new why back to your coach. Post that new why in the Facebook group. And if you feeling real bold, post that new why on your regular Facebook feed and let them know you with the Win Blueprint. With that said, I'm gonna hand it over to Michael because we got to talk about stabilization and we're a little bit behind schedule. I want to make sure I give her enough time to bless the people. Michael, take it away.
Well, I appreciate you, Chuck. That was amazing. Does anybody, I know some of you guys sent your whys over. Did anybody have a why they might want to share that they did send over? That's only if you want to share it, you can. Can you look for that, Chuck, and see if anybody, because I can't see. If not, it's fine. I just want to see if anybody wants to share.
Nothing in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Well, all right. So let me get this together because I want to go ahead and share my screen. You already made it so I can share it, Chuck?
We see your screen.
Oh, hold on a second. I'm just making this so that hold on. Oh, you guys. All right. This thing is not easy. I have to like put it on audience view. Sorry. Hold on a second. I always have this thing where I have one technical difficulty at least. All right. Do you guys see the main screen where it says it's time to stabilize?
We do.
All right, perfect. Well, this is
it.
basically just the reason why we're talking about stabilization today is just because we see a lot of you guys that are jumping out head on into everything, and we love it. We love to see you guys doing that. We love to see you guys like head first jumping out and making sure you're getting deals and doing 5 and 6 and 7 deals. We'll never try to stop you from doing that. What we're doing right now with the stabilization message is just saying, hey, what we don't want you to do is get over your head. We don't want you to overextend yourself. We've seen it happen. We've seen sometimes people are like, you know what, my win number is 35. I'm going to get 10 right now, real quick. And then I'm going to get started with 10 before the end of the year. Because, Eric can do the 25 in 25, but I don't know about everybody else just being able to jump in there on their first deal. So we do have people that go, okay, I'm going to get door 1, door 2, door 3. And it's great. We love to post your wins, and we're going to make sure that you get recognized for everything you do. But at the same time, we always want to make sure that you don't get to the point where you burn out and or you have so many things going on that you can't handle it financially. So that's why we're doing the stabilization message today. It's just talking about avoiding financial overwhelm. A lot of people have asked me, what is stabilization? And this is what it is. It's staying financially and emotionally grounded, emphasizing self-discipline, because this is even a part of self-discipline, and financial responsibility, showing how to avoid impulsive decisions in favor of long-term stability. So this is kind of where we're looking. We want you not to be impulsive, not to think, I can do this and there's nothing else that can happen. We want you to constantly think and strategically plan. And that helps you to gain confidence and competence, knowing you have a plan to sustain you through the real estate market ups and downs. So this is all about mindset. In the beginning, in the first session, we always talk to you about mindset, switching over from an investor or a consumer mindset to an investor. This is just another way, just making sure the long-term growth is sustainable. So obviously you're going to count the cost. If you follow this approach, it will help you to create a structured, balanced investment plan that's going to reduce financial stress and keep your investments sustainable over the long haul. How many of you guys have already, multiple doors? I say 3, 4 doors already. Raise your hand. Chuck, do you see any people? Because I can't see everybody. You see anybody with 3 doors? How about 2? You guys, anybody? Okay, Marla, we know you got Marla's, I think, on what, door 6 and 7? Oh, so this is, yeah. So once you've gone over 3, I would say this is a great message for you. I typically will send you an email saying, hey, I know you're at a few doors. It's time to start to look into stabilizing. So I love that I have even like Rebecca and some other mentees who are on multiple doors, just to make sure that we can get this message in at this time. So it's actually a good time for this. So this is the average cost when purchasing a home. Of course, you guys know there's the initial property price because when we're typing out everything, we don't, this is why we created the flipulator and the winulator. So you can get all the costs in up front. And that's why we put cushions in and tell you to think, seven to $8,000 over the rehab costs and add that in. And even with the ARV, we try to tell you, hey, just think a little bit lower than it normally would be because our goal is to get you to under evaluate and to overbid for your costs because in that way when everything starts working out in the finances side you'll either be like okay this is kind of what I thought it would be but it won't be like you'll be over extended. So the cost of the home itself, you guys know, it's depending on the real estate market. You have a down payment, especially all of your lenders give you different costs. Some of them, like Neil, he asked for an initiation cost up front. Some of them ask for, 800. Neil might ask for 3,000, but he's going to get you a little more money on the front end. All these things, you guys, are your job to when you first actually put an offer in and get accepted. And we tell you, hey, here's your lender pitch. We're going to have you pitch to each lender. It's your job to sit down with each one of those lenders when they return those term sheets to you and get a great understanding of every bit of the cost. What are my down payments? What are my closing costs? Are there anything, any other charges or fees I need to be aware of? Your commissions, you want to add that in. We've incorporated all of that into the flipulator. So you can just pack that flipulator with all the costs. And so every time you talk to a lender, change it because Neil's rate may be 15, but Andrew's may be 10. So go around and play with the numbers with each lender on that flipulator so you can see how your bottom line is affected. You also have to think about origination fees, the title insurance. Definitely get that, I would suggest. Property appraisal and inspection fees, transfer taxes, and recording fees. These are all part of your closing costs. So just, when we say closing costs, that's an overview, including all of these things. Of course, once you buy the house, then there's, us, we have the lead inspections, the home inspections, taxes, insurance. You have to count these things. And so we even give you a section on the flipulator for holding costs where you can put the monthly mortgage plus utilities and anything else you want to add in there, just as a cushion. And even in the winulator, it also has a maintenance and a vacancy cushion. So, this is a percentage they're just automatically deducting for those things. So just try to count the cost of everything and make sure you understand what your home is going to cost you realistically. So this is just a kind of example for a $100,000 home with basic updates. You're looking at the purchase price, the closing cost could be about 5, the renovations 35, and all the miscellaneous could be from 7 to 10. If you're putting it in the flipulator correctly, that could make a $100,000 home cost $150,000. So I want you guys to always think there is got to be, I got to incorporate cushions everywhere I can so that at the end of the day, I don't come out with more money than I thought I was ready to put in. So identifying cash flowing properties and balance those with appreciation potential. So you don't rely solely on market increases only for returns. So we're talking about setting a strong foundation here where we look at the difference between cash flow and appreciation. And cash flow focuses on income generation and appreciation focuses on long-term gains. The goal is to have a balance, but you have to understand the difference between cash flow and appreciation because each one of these represents a different way of generating income and building wealth with property investments. So if you look at cash flow is the monthly net income that your property is going to generate after all expenses. And we did a lot of definitions on the first day. Some of you guys may recognize it because you're still new in the program. So some of this will be a recap. But these are all the expenses such as mortgage, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, property management, fees, etc. And so the way it's calculated is you take the monthly rental income minus the monthly expenses, and that's your cash flow. All of that is incorporated into the winulator, which is really cool. Once you put all your expenses and everything in there, it will tell you your cash flow. It will tell you your cap rate. It will tell you your NOI and your ROI. which is pretty cool. You don't have to try to figure it out how to come up with those numbers yourself. It also focuses on income generation. A lot of people want to do cash flow properties such as flip because they generate predictable income, or putting a tenant in there that's going to be paying $300, $400, $500 over your mortgage. You want that predictable income, and that creates profit. So if you're looking at a cash flow property, let's say, for example, it costs $1,200 a month in mortgage and expenses and earns $1,500 in rent, that's $300 in positive cash flow each month. We kind of know those numbers. And so we want to make sure that we're looking at everything in advance so that we know exactly how much our cash flow is going to be. So that's the thing for people on that side who want to just start, getting money in, start appreciation. And appreciation is the increase in a property's value over time. So that's the second side we're going to look at, appreciation. This is long-term gains. It's influenced by the market demand, property improvements, and the economic growth in the area. This is like the long term. You are looking at, holding that property 4 and 5 years from now. And so how it's calculated, you take the current market value minus the original price, and that's appreciation. And this is all about investors wanting to hold the property, and you're knowing it's going to rise. Of course, Cleveland, our appreciation rate was about 7% this year, which is amazing. It's one of the top areas. So we know that we're going to have a profit. That's why we do this. And so it's crucial just to know when to buy and also knowing when to sell. These are the things that we can help you with talking through. So for example, a property purchased for $200,000 5 years ago could be worth $250,000. You got $50,000 in appreciation. So the pros of appreciation, buying properties that are long-term, can lead to substantial wealth over time. This is what we like to do. Mostly Eric, Chuck, and I will do like maybe 2 or 3 holds and then maybe a flip. Then maybe 2 or 3 holds and then maybe a flip. Because to me, we're still trying to get to our win number, but at the same time, sometimes you might need some quick cash. So you can kind of rotate how you want to do those. And so that allows for you to be able to get some increased equity and get, for further investments. But the goal is you've got to be patient with these. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I'm paying out this, I'm paying out that. This is not a short-term game. This is a long-term game. This is something that your kids are going to benefit from. And if you give up now because right now, hey, I had a pipe leak, it's just a lot, then you're not thinking about, just like Chuck said, your long-term why. So what we want to do is focus on setting that strong foundation. That's why we have you choose your exit strategy for each property. What do you want to do? You want to go with cash flow? You want to go with appreciation for this property? But continue to mix it up. I think what you guys should always do is have a nice mix of both. That's a great portfolio. So then we just talk about some benefits. Cash flow property is immediate income to reinvest or save. It acts as a safety net. That income can help cover the property costs during market downturns. It's suitable for investors wanting passive income or cash flow. And we talked about how appreciation leads to substantial wealth growth over time, allows for refinancing, which we love to do. A lot of people, even if you want, I want to say this about the refinances versus the flips. A lot of people say, I just want to flip it because I want money right now. But you can go into a situation where you get a tenant and you do a DSCR loan and you pull cash out. So now you have cash, a tenant, and a property for the long-term goal. You don't always have to flip a property to grab some cash. Please keep in mind that there are these refi loans that you can pull your cash out with, pay back your credit cards, have cash, and have tenants. You just have to have enough equity in that home. When we do the flippy later, that's why I put $40,000 as what I consider like a good flip, like the base flip, because I want you to be able to pull enough cash out of that property to be able to do your thing. But if you only want to do 10,000, 15,000, when you get ready to do your refi, you're not going to have much cash you can pull out. So we're trying to help you on both ends. And then of course, there's considerations. We always got to talk about Uncle Sam. So there's different times you can buy a house. It just depends on when you want to buy a house. This talks about the tax considerations depending on when you buy and flip. So buying a home late in the year allows you to claim deductions for mortgage interest, property taxes, and loan points on that year's taxes. These deductions can lower your taxable income if you itemize. And selling a house late in the year, like November or December, may push your tax liability into the next year, giving you time to prepare and offset gains with deductions. A lot of the houses I buy are like November, December, because then you don't have to worry about it until the next year, which is nice. So you got to think about those strategies. Make sure, of course, we are not tax people. We don't give tax advice, but we suggest getting a strong accountant with a real estate background that can actually help you go through some of these things. Because you got the 1031 exchange. If you sell something, you need to be able to put that money right back in something else, into an exchange of a like-kind property within a certain amount of time. And so there's different things also. You can purchase a home and make energy efficient improvements, which will qualify you for federal and tax credits. So these are things that people do on purpose to make sure they get the best results possible financially. So what I did was kind of just go into spelling out the word stabilize, so we can kind of bullet point it out. And stabilize, the S in stabilize is for set a realistic budget. You need to start with a clear budget for purchase and renovation costs, taking into account unexpected expenses. Use conservative estimates. We said that in the beginning. Overbid for your rehab, but estimate your ARVs. Okay, because this is going to help you avoid over leveraging. And so you're going to set a realistic budget up front. This is what we kind of do when we're making you do all your numbers, and make sure that you have liquid reserves that are not touched. I always have savings set aside that I don't touch. So when my main money is getting low, I just say I don't have money. That's it. I don't have money. I'm broke. I'm never going to utilize the liquid that I have. Chuck's over there clapping. I'm never going to utilize
I'm broke, baby. I'm broke.
And I don't want to speak that, but at the same time, no, I don't have money, because I always want to know that that money is never to be touched. So make sure when we're going over your finances, you have money that you just don't touch. That's why we always ask you how much money, how much cash and liquid you have for investing. We're not saying for everything, because some of your money is your money, of course. So you got to take stock of the capital that you actually have access to. Obviously, you're going to look at 401ks. A lot of people hate doing HELOCs, but we do love HELOCs. And the reason why is because the interest rate, you're probably looking at a 6 to 7% interest rate on a HELOC. Whereas if you come to the hard money lenders and some private money, you're looking at 11 to 15% interest rate. So be your own bank rather than having someone else give you that money and you have all this high interest and higher monthly payments. You have a way lower monthly payment, and you can pay yourself, you can put money in and out of your HELOC. You can pay that money back and use it again. So the T is for target properties that generate cash flow. We talk about this all the time. We're constantly having you guys analyze properties. We're looking at when to buy, hold, or sell. Right now, as Eric has said, it's a buyer's market. So we got to start taking those things into account. We could still sell, like selling might not be the best right now because buyers are going to be more picky. They're going to require inspections. They're going to require more because there's so many more houses available to them. So if you want to sell your house, you got to get on top of it. Don't half rehab it. Put the money in so that you can make sure you have the edge when it comes to you being a seller and get the most out of your property. It's going to be kind of tough if you have to do the property. Look, somebody gives you a $50,000 quote. You only want to put 30,000 in. So you bargain him all the way down to 30. He takes everything out. And then now you're like, my appraisal didn't come in for that high. Yeah, because you didn't finish the house, because you didn't want to pay that much. So try to go with, like Eric is like, I'll pay 100,000 if I'm going to make sure that house is going to give me a $220,000 ARV. I don't mind spending the extra money to make that property beautiful. You guys probably saw his property that we went in, the before and after the other day. I think he posted it yesterday, but it's beautiful. He did the extra. He did the yard. He did the flowers. He did the sidewalks. He did all of the things. And that's when you get those huge ARVs, because the ARV is fully finished, fully beautiful. So just make sure if you're going to bargain your contractor down, that you're not trying to do a flip, because flips require paying the extra to make sure it's beautiful enough for a picky buyer. Okay, so market analysis tools. These are all things, if you want to take a picture of it. I know a lot of times you guys are like, how do we analyze some markets? We went through the market analysis tool where we had you guys analyze 4 different areas. But these are things that I want you guys to look at. MASH, Pfizer, Roofstock, and PropStream. They really can help you with some of those analyzation tools. When you guys get ready to eventually go in your own areas, I want you to make sure you find the best areas and aren't just picking because someone told you it's cool. We've taught you how to analyze, and we taught you what to look for. So here's just a couple of extra sites for you always to have on in your roster there. So the A is for allocate. Allocate for rehab and maintenance reserves. I always say set aside at least 3 to 6 months of expenses in reserve to cover periods without rental income where you don't have a tenant yet, or an emergency repair. You know, I had some tenants that put baby wipes down their toilet. Of course, they said this wasn't what they've always done. And so apparently the pipes gave out. So they had, 4 inches of sewer flooding in their basement. And that's just because they weren't, obviously the package said do not flush, but they didn't feel like that applied to them. So in situations like that, what do we do? Now we got $1,200 where we got to get it out the sewer. Now we got cleanup. Now we get, have to clean. If their stuff got sewage all over it, how do we handle these things? So those are things we have to think of in advance. That's why it says 3 to 6 months, because good thing is I knew our lease said they are responsible for stuff like that. So they ended up having to pay for their cleanup and do all that. But, a lot of us will let them tell you, oh, you got to do this for me. And you'll go to your insurance and get canceled, So you just have to be prepared. So know your leases, understand what you put in them, and make sure that you're ready for any emergency repairs. I still had to come up with $1,200 to my plumbers. So that's something I had set aside, thank goodness. So these are different renovation costs. Sometimes that things can cost. We can't give you exact, obviously, because we have 4 different contractors that all have different prices, depending on if you're fixing it and flipping it, or if you're just trying to do a buy and hold or just a quick rent ready. So that's why we give a range. We always give you guys a range, but you can also get one of our contractors, and ask them, hey, what is your average price for this? And of course, the first thing they say, it depends. That's how they always come back. So you just want to make sure you ask your contractor individually, because 3 different contractors might give you 3 different quotes. To be honest with you, that's real world. That's how it is. So we just got to make sure we have a range here. You can, take a picture of this. But at the end of the day, there's nothing like just going to a contractor, sitting down with him, and going over everything of that. Every house is individual. Your rehab is individual, and they're going to treat it like an individual house. So allocate that money. So there's prices for major renovations as well, if you want to take a picture of that. Sometimes you have permits. Sometimes you have fees. Sometimes you have, full kitchen, full bathroom, garage tear down. They're getting big at that now, making you tear down a garage and or rebuild it. Make sure you understand those POS costs too. If you find a house in the, Euclid area, in the Garfield Heights, Maple Heights, all those areas that may have a POS, check that out and add that into your contractor budget. Don't just say, oh, I think it's about 13,000, but you haven't pulled that POS, because the city may say it's 40,000. So let's look and just get every number before you decide to make a commitment to that house. And the goal, again, I want you guys to diversify your portfolio. I got a little bit of all of these, and I want you guys to make sure you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Once you settle down into this, start looking into other options. I went on a meeting today about pad splits. And so, we were talking about how where you might make $1,700 on an Airbnb, you will make about $4,200 monthly on a pad split. So just finding different ways to make income with what you have. If you have extra rooms in your house, if you have a garage apartment, you can put people in these things just temporarily if you feel comfortable enough and start making income off what you have. You got an extra car? Let's put it on Turo. Let's make some money. What are you guys doing with the assets that you have? If you don't, they're liabilities, they're depreciating liabilities. But I've turned every single car here into an asset rather than liability. Okay. And also, please make sure you get proper insurance. We're going to constantly have people who do insure our investments. Like we'll bring on trust people, we will bring on people who deal with life insurance. But please do it. You won't be here when you're gone, of course. But your family is going to have to deal with every debt you left. You know, even when my mother passed, I had to pay her ambulance bill. I'm like, why would they charge her? You know, but I still had to pay her ambulance bill, you know. So they're going to have to pay everything that you do. And so please try to make sure you're insured with, you know, enough costs to cover your homes, your cars, everything. So when you're gone, they're taken care of, and or protect yourself from natural disasters, tenant damages, and liability claims. John is really good with our insurance, and I always give you guys several other references, but we've had people who had fires in this group, you know, with a tenant fire. It's a nightmare if you're not property insured or you didn't make sure they had renter's insurance. Because if they don't have renter's insurance, guess who's going to be, they're going to be looking at to cover their hotel costs and everything that they lost? You. So everybody should, if you guys are all becoming landlords soon, please require renter's insurance. Make sure everything is properly covered so that later on you are not the person looked at. It's your business, so you're going to be liable for if anything happens on that property. And the L is for leverage wisely. You want to use your loans carefully to avoid overexposure. I always say, they say to keep your loan value to 70 to 80%, which we do tell you 75%, so you retain more equity. What I say is if you have cash, try to do that. If you have cash, try to do that. The less loans to me, the better. Even pulling out draws. If you don't have to, if you can put cash on your repairs, do it. Eric's like, I don't even pull the draw. You know, Chuck, I don't know if he pulls draw. I had stopped. Once he told me he doesn't pull the draw, I don't pull the draws anymore. I just use my cash and then it's over with. It's done with. It's paid for. Now I don't have a loan that I have to pay back every month. So where you can, try to use your cash. You know, at the end of the day, it's less risk to you. And when you go to refi, you have less money that these people have to pay off before you can get your cash. I is for investigate. Look at all the market trends. Stay up on it. This is your business. Any business you have research. You have market surveys. You have where people are, you know, even hiring people to do market studies. So all these things you should be doing too. You should be always looking at what's going on in your area, wherever you're interested. Since you guys are coming to Cleveland, start looking at those things. We shouldn't have to tell you, hey, we need you to investigate Cleveland's hospital. Why don't you guys take initiative to investigate some of these places yourself? Because this is your bread and butter. This is where you're making your money. So they have right here the Federal Reserve Economic Data Indexes. It talks about houses and mortgage rates. You can take a picture of this too if you just want to kind of look at it. Oops, hold on one second. I'm going to go back just so you can copy this if you need to. It features detailed reports on housing markets, also CoreLogic, CoreLogic.com. It gives you in-depth research on market conditions and property evaluations. Here's another place you can go when you're looking at the market trends for different places you want to invest in. So if you want to do local market analysis, here's a few others. Take a picture of this one too. HomeSnap, Bigger Pockets. A lot of you guys use that already, and DealCheck. We just want you to have every tool that you can to make sure that you're researching well. You don't have to just go with what we tell you to do. Look outside of the box and try to look for some other things that may tell you even more information. Okay, and the Z is zero in on professional help. Obviously, you want to look at your mentors for help, relying on professionals for tasks that are outside your expertise. Get a lawyer, get an accountant, property management people, listen, and it helps you to manage your portfolio efficiently. So one thing we want to say about this is if you go outside of that advice, Now, let's say some of you guys are like, oh, I'm gonna ask my mentor about this, and then you choose to do something different, then that's when you're kind of on your own in that situation. We're gonna help you, but we're also gonna help you within staying with the Win Blueprint guidelines. So if you decide to go way out that, okay, so Alexis or Leah told me to use this person. Okay, we haven't vetted them, we don't know them, and we don't recommend them. So if you're trying to go outside of, because somebody else told you, then that's something you have to navigate on your own because we can't be responsible for what happens. If you're with our people, heck yeah, we're going to jump in there. If something's going wrong, we could be like, hey, Eddie or Mark or whatever, hey, you need to get this right. But if it's your own person you chose, we have no leverage with those people. So we're saying you're going to zero in on it, but you use our advice and take our advice. Well, that's what you paid for. E is evaluate and reassess regularly. So always look at pivoting. We talk about pivoting all the time because maybe you wanted to, buy and hold a house, but at the end of the day, you couldn't get tenants in there. There was just a problem. It's okay to flip it. It's okay to stop and say, you know what, I need to go in a different direction because this direction is not working. Please be willing to adjust your strategy as needed. If there's a huge market change, we could have a recession soon. If there's cash flow issues or challenges or the property just is not what you thought it was, always be willing to reassess. Hey, I thought I wanted to hold on to this one, but I'm going to sell it and get something else. That's okay to do. None of us are going to judge you. We all have done the exact same thing. I had a triplex. I was like, I love this place. I'm going to do. No, it never really worked out for me all the time. There was problems and I was like, I'm getting rid of it. And I made a good amount of money because the value of it went so high. So I can do that and get something else. I don't ever want you guys to feel like you're locked into something just because you said it. Always be willing to pivot if necessary and if needed. All right. I think that's it. Right? Yeah, I think that's it.
Awesome.
So
Thank you.
can you unshare me?
Can I unshare you?
I know. I'm like,
we don't share Michael around these parts.
Oh,
She's
stop
exclusive
share.
to
I
the
found
Win
it.
Blueprint. There we go.
Yeah,
all right.
so that's it. So yeah, we just wanted to, the reason why we do this is not to, get on you guys and say don't buy any other properties. It's always to protect your interests. Our goal is for you to have the long-term gains, the long-term financial success and wealth. And it starts with just making financially sound decisions now and counting the costs and making sure that you're always prepared for any emergencies or any problems. So I appreciate you guys because I know a lot of you guys are you really take our advice and you really push out there and do it. And so I'm proud of every single one of you guys that are going out here and making it happen and jumping out on that limb. Just let's always make sure we're smart about it and we're always making good decisions. And when in doubt, ask your mentors.
Absolutely. Before we jump into the final session, any questions about anything that's been covered so far today? Whether it's the why, the Win Blueprint coffee mug, or the stabilization that Michael just went over in great detail. Any questions? Any comments? Going once?
Thank you guys.
Absolutely. All right. So yesterday, if you have not been in the Facebook group in the last 24 hours, first, shame on you. Second, Michael posted a poll, and we definitely want to encourage as much participation in that poll as possible. We're just trying to gauge. We know a lot of things are happening right now in September. People are moving kids into school. We got schools coming back into sessions. We got some other conferences and things that are happening. So we're just trying to make sure that we have an adequate head count to see if we're going to do our next boots on the ground in September or October. And so that poll, while some of you did actually type in answers, we still need the poll as well, right? So that we're not going back and, assuming that your answer is similar to what you typed in. We want to have some concrete data. As you know, we want to move through everything as efficiently and effectively as possible. So feel free to jump into the Facebook group, find that poll that Michael posted, and make your voice heard. With that being said, our beautiful founder has an announcement that he would like to make.
Oh, you said beautiful. I thought you were talking about me.
No, he said beautiful. He was talking about me. Talking about me.
I take it back.
That
know
was
he
a
was
strong
talking-
word.
You know
I
you're
know.
talking about me.
No. This is a beautiful environment that he has created. I don't know about
Hey, First of all, I want
That's a different
to
Zoom. We're not gonna do that right now.
I want to thank Chuck and Michael for coming out and giving us your time today. I appreciate you guys so much, and that was a lot of great information. I want to thank the mentees for coming out and spending your Saturday morning or early afternoon with us. We appreciate it, and we love to see the growth. It's an amazing thing. Y'all know how I am. I just love it. Henry. I appreciate you. I appreciate some of the veterans coming out. Man, this has been a great thing. But also, a lot of you guys may know I've been talking about doing something out of the country or, something abroad. And it's really been heavy on my mind. And yes, we have been looking at other markets also. You guys have been hitting me on my inbox. Yes, we have been investigating and researching other markets that may happen beginning of next year. So I'm excited about that too. But really, my plan was when we hit 100 mentees, and Michael's and Chuck's plan was we was going to take it abroad and see what we can do in another part, either really close to this country or somewhere far out like Costa Rica or Dubai when we hit 100. So I was like, how can we fast track getting to 100? Because I'm ready to go on the island with all of y'all and learn some great tax breaks buying in these other places for Americans that are high net worth. There's a lot of tax breaks buying outside of this country, and I definitely want to explore those places. So and have some fun on the island with the community. So I was like, how can we fast track this? And I was like, what if we just come up with a referral program where you guys bring us your friends and family, and we also pay for you guys. So we'll have the whole referral program is going to be posted in the Facebook group, and also email sent to every single one of you guys, just to help grow our family. And great thing is it'll be friends and family of you guys. So it'll be people that you guys know, trust, and love just as much as we love you guys. So other than that, again, I see everybody looking at my hat. Everybody was wondering where I got my hat from. It looked real fancy. I know y'all like it. Just go to the Win Blueprint store. We got a store now, y'all. We official. We got a website and a store. You don't have to go to ericgill.com no more. You can go to thewinblueprint.com. Get you some merch that you will have, on the next boots on the ground. You know how I get.
I put it in there.
Did you put it in there again?
Yeah, we put it in the chat. So you guys, if you guys want to get anything, now mind you, if you've never been on a trip, you're getting a free t-shirt anyway.
Yes.
If you lost your t-shirt, go here to get another t-shirt.
But if
you want to just come and get some more extra merch for the trip, you're welcome to.
Hey,
you are welcome.
Thank you guys. It's 11:35 my time. I don't want to keep you guys any longer than we need to. I appreciate you. I hope to see you guys. I hope we're doing it in September and October. But if we're doing just October or September, I'm good with that too. Everybody keep growing. Don't forget to stay connected to this community, because when you stay connected to this community is when the growth happens. All this knowledge, all this education, all this experience is right here for you. And we always just a text away. So again, you guys go have a beautiful weekend. I appreciate you.
Bye, guys.
I'll see you on the next one.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.